Welcome back to the Remote No Pressure Podcast, Bill.
Hey, it's great to be back. It's been a while.
That's your line. It's great to be back.
Great to be back.
Notice I didn't steal it.
I appreciate that after our last couple that I was present for.
Let's light the fire.
Go
How are you feeling, man?
I'm about 99% better.
99% better. What's the 1%?
Some lung crap going on still.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Not ED or anything like that.
No. You can't seem to.
I'm not going there because we will get text and emails. So I'm glad you're feeling well. I don't believe Corona affects that anyway. So I think I don't know.
I hope not. I hear there can be some effects that linger or come back.
No, it's really funny because as soon as I turned 40, it's like Facebook knows your birthday.
Yeah.
And it started like these ED ads constantly.
Blue pills?
Over and over again. And I'm like,
have you tried them?
I've never Googled that, but I don't know if it's like triggered by a birth date. Like when you turn a certain age, all of a sudden, it was also like the one time I read an article from The Blade and Siri was convinced I was gay. our Facebook was. And so they would constantly send me ads for like gay singles. And I'm like, what? Where is this coming from?
I think it's because you downloaded Grindr on your phone.
Well, that could have been the problem. As most of you know, I like to smoke meat, and so I thought Grindr was like a sausage app. And sure enough, it was a sausage, but the wrong kind of sausage. I didn't know. Grindr without the E is the bad one, I think.
I don't know.
Or does it have an E in it?
I'm not going to Google it to find out.
Well, I had it on my app, and I'm like, find local smokers, people that smoke meat nearby. I didn't know.
This funny.
And it was
I'm going to get it anyways.
There were 2 spots at this very desk, and I'm like, wait, Bill? And I looked at you.
Oh.
I gotta go.
Somebody very close in your geographic location. Like, whoa.
Within 2 feet. But hey, as long as we're 6 feet apart, we're okay.
That's right.
Yeah, but anyways, I've never downloaded Grindr. I'm not familiar with it, but for some reason, Facebook was convinced that I was a homosexual, and so because
not that there's anything wrong with that.
Well, the problem is that I had actually looked at an article from The Blade, which is a gay rag, right? And it was on politics and stuff, and so I read it, and then all this, because my friends shared it, and they happened to be, homosexual. So I read it, and then all of a sudden, like, the ads for like 3 weeks, and then I turned 40, and then for like 3 weeks, the ED ads were coming.
Oh boy!
And I'm like, I don't know how you come up with
this.
Can't
stuff. Escape it. Might as well. Did you order them?
No, maybe Hims. The wipes, that's all you need. Just kidding. This is not an ad for Hims. This is not an ad for Hims because in baseball, that's all you see was Hims. But I am balding, so I could probably use Hims for that. They do everything for men. And now we're doing a commercial.
I know.
Now we're doing a commercial for them. So
little blue pills.
You're welcome, Hims. We're going to be sending you out an invoice for all of our listeners that are listening in. So thank you very much, Bill. Though I'm really happy that you're better.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Was it kind of scary at first when you had it? Were you like, oh crap, how serious is this really?
No, we weren't really scared. My wife came down with it first. I'm not saying that she got it first. Like I may have been a carrier and just didn't show any symptoms. Mm-hmm. But she lost her sense of smell, and that night I texted work saying, "Hey, I'm not gonna come in and might go get tested." And sure enough, both came up positive. First week we were fine, just fever. Second week I went to the ER though.
Wow.
'Cause I had a really hard fever spike that just like knocked me out, and I was down for another week after that. So like 2.5 weeks of being sick.
That's crazy, man. Mm-hmm. But remember, you didn't go to trial camp because you had been exposed.
Yeah, that was like the week or two prior to me getting exposed.
It. But you went and got tested after, and you were negative.
Yeah. No, I didn't get tested.
You didn't get tested.
It was my boss who was exposed, and I had close contact with him, and so it wasn't sure where he was. So he got tested. He came up negative.
Okay.
So I was in the clear. So I thought.
Wow.
2 weeks later, whatever it was.
Wow, that's wild, dude. I'm so glad you're okay, though. I know right after you had called and said that you had it, I was really sick.
Yeah. And
so I went to Walgreens. I really appreciate them. And I went through the drive-through because it's what you told me to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's like no one there. except for the people testing, the people working there.
Yep.
And they come out like this hazmat looking suit thing. You're like, don't get out of the car. I thought it was like E.T. Remember E.T. at the very end of the movie when everyone was like, and it's like, it's crazy. That's what I was thinking. I was like, this is like E.T., man. Like, what is going on? It's like a global pandemic,
And they put a little swab in a cart and pushed it towards your door.
Yes.
Now you can roll your window down.
Oh, I didn't think about it when I rolled up. I had my window just completely rolled down. I'm just like chilling, listening to some music. And the lady looked at me like, you are going to burn in hell if you do not. You know what I mean? I was like, oh my God. Okay.
Where's your mask, sir?
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Exactly. I was like, oh my gosh. So I went in there and they were super nice. They were scary because they're dealing with COVID all day, every day. So they're kind of like a beat up dog, kind of flinching at every little thing you do,
Yep.
And so they took my swab, and then I had to launch that day, and then we were in the studio on that Friday, and I'm thinking, if I come down with COVID, everything's screwed for 2 weeks at least.
And everybody around you has it.
So I knew I ended up like an hour and a half later, Walgreens called me and said, no, you don't have it. It's just a bad cold.
Oh, they actually called you?
They called me.
Oh,
yeah.
I just got emailed.
You got an email?
They were afraid of transmitting it over the phone.
Yeah, COVID knows. It's kind of like when you go to a restaurant. It knows if you've got the mask and if you're over 4 feet, it kind of floats in the air.
Yep.
And then when you sit down at your table, if you take it off, you're okay.
Did you hear too? Australia thought you could get it through farts.
Really?
Yeah, like somebody down there was joking, probably. But
this is not in other news. This is the real thing.
This is They thought you can smell a fart through your pants. You could probably get COVID that way too.
Oh my God! Well, if you think about it, if it only goes like 4 feet and up, midgets or those vertically challenged. I'm sorry if we have any vertically challenged little people listening to the podcast. It would be really hard to find waiters. I'm really sorry for you. I don't know what to say. I'm trying to be nice because we got a really good guest this week, so I'm trying to be kind of professional. But
what a week too.
What? So my thing though is if a little person is, about 3 to 4 feet, that would be in line with flatulence.
Oh my goodness.
So actually they could that would be a dangerous place to be.
Yeah.
If at a restaurant, you're okay because, there's no flatulent devices in front of you. However, whenever you go to just walking around you every day, you're at grocery store, there's lots of things. And if you look at me on the YouTube channel, if you haven't, you'll see kind of how I'm making these nasty hand gestures.
Well, not nasty hand gestures. It wasn't that nasty. I know some pretty nasty hand gestures. I'll show you off the air.
These are like butt cheeks, though.
Oh,
so if I'm walking, okay. So I guess you guys have to go to the YouTube channel and check it out and see if that looks like butt cheeks. Like here I am, a little person, and
Wow, it brings up Sir Mix a lot all of a sudden.
Yeah, it does, especially like that. Like the first part of the video, that's like I'm like, what is he sitting on? Oh my God. God, poor Eric. He's the guest this week. He's probably like,
what did I get myself into?
He's going to send this out to all of his friends. He's going to say, I'm going to start it at 14 minutes when Bill and Jeff shut up. Oh, by the way, because see, I haven't seen Bill in like 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
So the intro might be a little bit longer because
it's been so long.
We got a lot to talk about. I had a guy. I can't remember his name. God, I wish I could remember his name right now. He emailed me. He said, hey, you said if there's any listeners in Louisiana to email you. And I am Louisiana, and I love your show. And I thought I would, when I saw the title of the podcast, Remote No Pressure, I thought it was about fly fishing in remote places. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so bad. And he said, but all I hear is like about other alternate universes and things like that.
Bigfoot.
And I said, well, what's more remote than fly fishing in an alternate universe?
I was looking at in other news topics and alternate universes kept popping up. I'm like, no, that's just too weird.
Really?
Well, but we were just talking about Bigfoot and interdimensional and all that kind of stuff the last couple of weeks. So
yeah. We like that kind of stuff. We believe in it. Congratulations, Oregon, on legalizing psilocybin.
Whoa,
Did you hear about that? That was a huge deal. But I digress on that.
But who knows if that's real or not, or if it's rigged. I'm going to stop that there because YouTube will.
Yeah. We love everything. We have no opinions about anything. I can't believe you're back, Bill. I'm so happy. It's just like I haven't seen my friend in forever. Speaking of that, in other news, Bill, I think you got another news this week.
Which one are we going with? You want me to go with that video?
Yeah,
the first video that I sent you in the text?
Yeah, this right here. No, not the first video. No.
This is a creepy video I watched on our good old reliable source, Coast to Coast AM.
Was this Coast to Coast AM where you got? Because it says Gizmodo.
Well,
what is
they put
Gizmodo?
links. I don't know what Gizmodo is, but Coast to Coast does the same thing we do. They'll post topics and articles from other areas.
Oh, okay.
And so they're searching the web for weird, creepy junk too.
Okay, who's not these days?
I know, right? You have to right now to keep your sanity. Disney made a skinless robot that can realistically stare you directly into your soul.
Oh my gosh.
Realistically stare directly into your soul. One of the obvious giveaways that you're interacting with a robot is their blank, dead-eyed stare. The eyes don't connect with yours, and yours the way they would if they were, human.
I dated a girl like that once.
Was she a robot?
No, just maybe. Anyways, I digress.
A research team at Disney is trying to fix that subtle head motions, eye movements that make the robot seem more lifelike, despite the lacking skin and looking like pure, unfiltered nightmare material. And we will post clips of the video, so go to our YouTube. This thing is creepy. My package was delivered, it said, from UPS.
I see that.
It shows. Let me turn the volume down so we can keep talking over this while we conversate over it.
And you guys can go to our YouTube channel, and whatever we can legally put up, we will put up.
I can do 7-second segments.
Okay,
legally,
so we're gonna do 21 7-second segments.
all at once. This thing.
It's creepy.
It is creepy. It looks like a skeleton, a skull with eyeballs, and the eyes will find your eyes and stare you down. Look at that.
That is really creepy. That's scary, dude. I can't even
Disney.
look at it, dude.
Thanks Disney.
Nothing says, I don't know, make-believe and fun kids Mickey Mouse stuff like a robot that will follow your eyes.
Yes, and stare you down. I don't know if it'll say anything yet. That'd be even creepier.
I don't want to hear it talk.
I know your sin.
Oh my gosh. Well, that would be interesting, a confessional robot.
Oh, but yeah,
with the priest
like
outfit.
That?
But if they're behind the screen, you don't see their face anyways. A confessional robot. Like you go in there and you tell me your sins.
But you don't need the eyes. We'll just
True.
We'll just make a box that we'll make Siri.
You know what? We should sell
a Siri app, confessional app.
Oh.
And then we'll sell the best stories.
Ooh, with your name and IP address on them.
And Timmy at this address, let's just say don't check his computer.
Timmy? No, one of the things that we really appreciate about our community, I remember when I was down in Texas with Aaron Reed, Brad Boone, and those guys, I had an amazing time last summer. And as we're getting everything put together, Aaron Reed and his sons, while we're tying up, his sons had some garbage bags, and they were walking around the area and picking up garbage all over the place.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's very cool, and it's teaching your kids to pick up some trash or whatever. But it's not uncommon for me to leave the water with a net with a couple beer cans in it. Or some trash, because that's just what I do. You know, most fly anglers are like that. We want to do our best to keep trash out of our water. And I will say...
Okay, I thought you were saying you were leaving beer cans in a net. And I'm like, what a monster.
No, I leave the water when I go home.
With beer cans in your net.
Yeah, some random beer cans. And again, we've discussed the brands of beer.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally, I'll find a microbrew, but it's usually a Natty Light.
Yep, something gross
with an old fire next to it, and some different paraphernalia.
Mm-hmm.
But Alex Charlton, I don't know if you remember Alex, but he called me a couple weeks ago. I was like, hey. Oh, and I'll tell you guys more. Alex called me and said, hey, I really want you to take a look at this company. And I was like, okay, I'll take a look at it. But our computer completely crashed 2 weeks ago. That's why, for the first time ever, we missed a Sunday, one episode. Sunday. So I very apologize, but it's the first time in our podcast history that we missed a Sunday. And it hurt me really bad. And right now we're kind of ghetto rigging everything to get it out. So, but that's why you didn't get an episode last week. But he said, why don't you check this out? And it is a company that it's an intentional piece of equipment that you would take with you to collect trash, like a trash can that you intentionally take with you, but it's not bulky or anything like that.
Interesting.
So Alex sent over some ad copy, so I'm going to read it.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. How often, Bill, have you encountered trash along the stream while fishing?
All the time.
All the time.
Probably every time.
A discarded soda can or a plastic bottle. Maybe this company, maybe they don't believe in alcohol, so they said soda can.
Yep.
They're not from Michigan because it doesn't say pop.
Yep.
Or Coke in Texas. Everything's a Coke. Maybe you wanted to pick up the trash but had nowhere to put it. Or you simply didn't want to worry about lugging pieces of garbage around while trying to wet a line. I end up putting it at the end of the trip. I always put it in my net, which is gross or whatever. After a college research trip with Trout Unlimited, a pair of young anglers decided to make a difference in the watershed pollution crisis. Fish Gods was the name of the company, was born from both passion and problem. The team designed a reusable bag to collect trash from our waterways, forests, and beaches that we all love to use for fishing and all other forms of recreation. The Clean Earth Bag is the name of this contraption. The Clean Earth Bag was born. The Clean Earth Bag eliminates single-use plastic alternatives. A Meyer bag, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Or even like a trash bag or whatever. The bag is designed to endure the elements and easily connect to any anchor point, making it convenient to attach to your belt, pack, or waders, and it's collapsible. Fish Gods launched a Kickstarter campaign to help fund the Clean Earth Bag project. They are extremely close to reaching their goal. They may have already reached it by the time it's here because I think it was only like $300 or $400 more. And I know people out there can go on there and help them out with this. But need your support to help make this a reality. I think these boys aren't going to have a problem doing that.
Yeah.
If their goal is reached, Fish Gods will have enough capital to produce the Clean Earth Bag using recycled materials and practice sustainable manufacturing methods as well as low impact shipping. To learn more about the mission or to donate to the Kickstarter campaign, visit fishgods.co. And then we're going to put links, and we got some cool pictures. Maybe can we put pictures on the YouTube channel or like coming by like as I'm talking right now?
Yeah, we
can. We do that? Yeah. You could probably do that.
That'd be weird, but I can do something.
But we got
Maybe
pictures
I'll
on
just put a still image up instead of floating by your
That's
head.
what I meant, like a still image. But my head is floating. But it's pretty cool. Check it out. See what I mean? And that would be really cool going in, going out, leaving better than what you got.
Yeah.
Also, all shirts from now until the end of November, we have a few more Bob White shirts left. We have all of our other shirts too. $18. That's because it's Black Friday. It's the holidays.
You're beating the stores to Black Friday?
I am beating the stores. The word beating the stores to Black Friday.
I guess you can't say that in 2020 either.
Black Friday?
No, beating the stores. I don't know. Nothing about this conversation sounds PC.
Black Friday and beating those. This is not the environment to be using that terminology. I'm very upset with you, Bill.
I'm sorry, YouTube.
There we go. We love everybody. We love everything.
So you're I don't know how to say this without you're first to the market with the
Christmas
sales,
season deals.
the post Thanksgiving Friday sales.
$18. We got a few decals on there that are 99 cents. We got a lot of good stuff online. Go online because, to be honest with you, we're looking to make some money to reinvest back into the podcast. So every time you buy something, you're reinvesting in the podcast. So go online, check out our shirts, even the Bob White. There's a few of those left. Bob White, $18. That includes shipping, taxes. That's very taxing on us. Shipping, taxes, the whole shoot and match, $18 for this month. Go online.
You can't afford not to.
You can't afford not to. Buy them for your friends. Buy them for your family.
Sasquatch shirts.
The Sasquatch shirts. I'm wearing the Fly Fishing is Dead shirt. This happens to be my favorite one. The reason why is because the design.
Hold up my
mug. We got the mugs too. But the design is cool. It's amazing. It's hand drawn, but this shirt is so stinking comfortable. So $18 for any shirt online for this month. Not long sleeve tees. We'll do long sleeves at 20, t-shirts at 10.
Oh, it's extra material.
It's extra material.
It's not economical to no.
But that includes shipping. That includes taxes. The whole shoot and match.
You can't afford not to.
You can't afford not to, ladies and gentlemen. Today
you
only.
can still get your Bigfoot buff too, right?
Yes,
you still have those.
Buff,
I mean,
we still have those available too.
In this day and age, You gotta have a buff.
Yes, all of our products come with the Bigfoot guarantee. You will not experience a Bigfoot attack while using one of our mugs, while wearing our shirts. If you do, we will give you 100% money back and a $100 bill.
But you must have footage.
Proof. And it can't be, well, if it's a good Polaroid, we might accept it.
Do they still make Polaroids? I don't know.
Yes, they do, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, they
In
really
the vinyl
do.
section at Kmart.
Blue light special. No, but seriously, you will not. We have a guarantee on that. I mean, it's just impossible. We have sent all of our products to a guru.
To testing.
It's kind of like things when they're kosher. The rabbi has to come in and make it. So we called the guru, who happens to be part of the spiritual community.
He goes out in the woods and he hoops and he hollers.
Yes, he hoops and he hollers. And
he sprays Sasquatch pheromones on his neck to really draw him in.
It is one of those things. It's the blood of the essence of a baby Sasquatch.
That's a tough one to find too.
Mixed with a few things, and I don't know how he does it, but everything. God, this is so stupid. everything. 18 and 20, 18 for t-shirts, 20 for the long sleeve tees. Speaking of kosher, this week on the Remote No Pressure podcast, we've been having some other guests. These guests that are coming back from season 1 and season 2 had a tremendous impact on my life personally. Either they came on, they didn't know who we were, they come on, but Eric we're going to talk a little bit about that on the podcast, so I don't want to give it away, but Rabbi Eric Eisenkramer, who wrote the book, and we got a link to his books down below, to his book about spirituality and fly fishing, joined us again this week on the Remote No Pressure podcast. An amazing... And we got to Zoom this time, so the video is awesome.
Oh, nice!
Because before my first season was just recording,
Yeah, just audio.
But now
season 2, right?
Yeah,
they're all on YouTube now, but it's just audio.
Just audio. Everything's on YouTube, but it's just audio. So at the end of this video, a plaque's going to come up, and you can click on his initial interview. So when this YouTube video is over, at the very end of that YouTube video, you can click on it and listen to his previous one.
But you got to stick around the whole time.
Or fast forward. Yeah. Stick around for a big surprise at the end. No, but he did that. And then also Cameron Mortensen, if you watch his video, at the very end of the video, there's a tile that comes up and you can click on his initials. So that's what we're doing. So if
getting high tech on the YouTube.
I know, dude. I've been digging in, and then the computer crashed. Both my Macs crashed, and that doesn't happen very often.
No.
We got new Macs coming up. We got new software, dude. I'm pumped. I'm excited. I wish I would have did this before the season started, but I thought I could get one more season out of that Mac, but it's gone.
And that's hard to believe, too. Macs last so long. I have a 10-year-old, almost a 12-year-old MacBook Pro I'm still working on.
Wow. Well, that other Mac that I thought I could use, it literally crashed this week, too, which is very uncommon. That one's probably 10 years old.
Wow. Yeah.
It makes a weird noise, the chainsaw noise that we...
Yep.
Something like that. And actually, it's so old, you have to actually pull it.
Yeah.
There's a pull start on
There's
it.
the choke also.
Yeah, you got to get the choke right, the bunny and the turtle,
Not too much.
Not too much. But I'm so happy to have Eric here this week on the Remote No Pressure podcast. Welcome to the podcast. Let's light the fire. Thanks, Phil. Let's light the fire. Welcome back to the Remote No Pressure podcast. I'm very excited to have a guest on from season 1. It was very inspirational to me and to a lot of our listeners, but now his audio will be a lot better than the first episode, and we get to see him in person. So thanks for meeting with us, Rabbi Eric Eisenkramer. Thank you very much.
Jeff, it's great to be back with you. Thanks for having me back on your podcast.
Yeah, no problem. It's been a little while. I think the last time I spoke to you on that episode, I think it was season 1, episode 44, something like that. It was just me. Wild Bill hadn't joined us, and I just moved into the house I'm in right now, so in the cornfield. And it's like, wow, it's been a little while since I talked to you, but I'm glad to be reaching out to you. I'm glad that you came on. Recently, Aaron Reed, my good buddy down in Texas, he was really touched by your book as well. And he made a posting on his blue collar fly fishing blog about, I'm like, man, I got to have Eric back on the podcast. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Hey, Jeff, I want to ask a question. You're in a cornfield, you're saying?
Yeah.
Have you seen any baseball players out there?
No, not yet. No baseball players. The occasional deer. But are you a big fan of baseball? Are you a baseball fan?
Oh, sure. Well, I'm from St. Louis, and
That's
I grew
right.
up rooting for the Cardinals. And I was at the I guess it was in 80. I think it was in 84 when they played the Mets in the playoffs. And I was a kid back then. I remember, and I had a shirt, and my fellow New Yorkers are not going to appreciate this, and it said the Mets are pond scum. But it was a very important shirt in that year.
Well, whatever happened to the Mets? I mean, if we're going to talk baseball, it's like they just I don't know. It's kind of like the White Sox, but the White Sox won a World Series a few years ago. But yeah, it's just kind of I don't think about the Mets, probably because I'm not a New Yorker. But is it a big thing? Either you're for the Mets or for the Yankees? Because I mean, you're in New Jersey, so you probably see it all. Are people either Mets fans or Yankees fans, or are they both?
100%. It's one or the other. I assume it's like in Chicago where you've got the Cubs and the White Sox and you're diehard one way or another. It's just we tend to think that the Mets fans are gluttons for punishment because, those poor Mets fans, they just never get to where they want to get to. But I know plenty of very diehard Mets fans who are used to disappointment.
Now, you grew up in Olivet, right? Near St. Louis,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
That's where you'd grown up, and then you had gone to school. Can you tell people like a little bit? I know this is maybe a recap, so if people want to go back to season 1, but what is that process to become a rabbi? I mean, you're a Jewish rabbi. You're serving the Jewish, the congregation there. What's that process like?
Well, so I did my undergraduate in Boston. I went to Tufts. And then I decided I wanted to be a rabbi and serve the Jewish people and help people and try to be a leader of a congregation. So I went to study. I spent 1 year learning in Israel and Jerusalem. That was about 20 years ago. And then I went to New York City and studied for another 4 years, and I was ordained as a rabbi.
Now, did you always want to be a rabbi growing up? Did you always feel like a spiritual connection with your community, or was it something that is anything happen in your life that set you on that path?
Well, I was always, enjoy being a part of the congregation where I grew up, and spirituality was always important to me. And I got to college, and I decided I wanted to be a businessman and maybe start a business. And then I started taking some religious classes and some Jewish classes, and I started to get very interested. And I said, I think I want to do something where I can help others, where I can contribute, where I can be there for people. And it just kind of kept growing.
Now, during this time, I know it's been a weird year for everyone, but has being someone, a clergyman, has it been even more stressful for you? I mean, how did you serve your congregation through this time? I mean, that had to be a crazy time for you.
Oh, for sure. But, I think people of all religions, we need our faith communities now more than ever. And our rituals and our traditions are just so important to us to give us the grounding and the rooting we need, to deal with the virus and the isolation and, so much of what we do. I feel like I could work with you now because I feel like I got my own PhD in Zoom and like YouTube and filming and all that, like on the job IT degree, and, because we stream our services and our programs. And, but, it's been just very comforting for people to know that the religion and the rituals continue.
Yeah, I know like with some of the Jewish communities inside New York City, they were really impacted with some of the lockdowns and weren't able to do, go through with some of the funeral stuff and all that. And I know that was kind of and I'm not going to try to act like I know what I'm talking about, but I know that, the Jewish faith was impacted quite a bit. Like you said, every faith was, I think, during the lockdown. Have you, your congregants, I mean, are they logging in on? I'm just curious because I don't really attend much, but religious services. But are they still logging on? Are they still like taking part in things? Or have you seen kind of a cutback on that?
Well, we have a clergy council here in town, so I always am talking to the ministers and priests in my town. We just had a meeting this morning, as it turns out, and we're all finding that certainly like in the spring, people really, everybody was coming together. We're getting high numbers of views, whatever. Right. And people were really finding it, our services to be very helpful. And now, it's still about the same, about what we've always had in terms of participation. But I will say a lot of people keep telling me that we should stream services forever because they love it. They can sit in their living room, right, and they can really still have the spirituality and the prayers and the songs and all the stuff that they love and participate. So, I think we're going into a whole new world here. And I think our new world, God willing, we'll get through this pandemic sooner rather than later. And when we do, I think everything's going to be a lot more virtual, and that's not a bad thing. That could be a very good thing.
Yeah, I agree. About my father was a pastor when I was younger, and we had come up with this idea in the late 90s. This has nothing to do with fly fishing, but at the late 90s where, you log on and then you decide like what kind of music you want to listen to, because we all know that music is like the most controversial thing in any church. So you could choose like the style that you want, and then you can choose the style of preaching that you want that week. You can have this gospel guy, you can have this guy, you can have Joel Osteen, or, whatever you want to feel like. And then you donate your money to a big pool and that gets split. We were just totally joking. It was not a serious, but it's like one day that could happen. I could totally see that now. It's like, how do you feel today? And then you select the congregation that you'd like to go to. And that's how it is. I just thought that was kind of funny.
That's a great idea. People, I will tell you though, people get very attached to their congregations, Jewish congregations and Christian congregations. So, you like what you like,
Yeah, and I like more of a simple faith, where it's a smaller congregation. People kind of know each other, help each other out, feed the poor, take care of the widows and the orphans, like the Bible says. But
the good stuff.
The good stuff, I like that simple type faith. Now, how did you discover fly fishing? Because I know there's not a lot of water in St. Louis, but how did you end up learning how to fly fish? How did you take up that hobby?
So when I was a kid, my dad used to take me out fishing to a preserve called Bush's Wildlife in outside of St. Louis, about an hour away. We'd get up at like 5:30 and drive out. We had the night crawlers, and we put them on the hooks, and the traditional bobber with the white and the red, half white, half red. And
sure.
I did that when I was a kid. And then in 1993, I may have seen a certain movie that your listeners might be familiar with, known as A River Runs Through It. And I was, of course, hooked like millions of others. And I was captivated by the Montana scenery and the grace of the casting and just the beautiful, elegant nature of fly fishing and, of course, the trout. And I said, I better give this a try. So I went to the local fly fishing store in St. Louis, and I bought a St. Croix 9-foot 5-weight rod that I was able to use for about 15, 20 years. It was a great rod. And I started teaching myself to fish, and it just kind of went from there.
It's amazing the impact that movie had on so many anglers. It's funny because my oldest son's 11. And so I thought, you know what? I haven't seen this movie in a while. Let's watch A River Runs Through It. And I was like, wait, he's too young to be watching A River's Run because there's a lot of swearing.
Maybe.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, it's like covering his ears, but that movie impacted a lot of people. That's the conversation that I have. We had, and if you guys are listening right now, we actually had John Deach, who was the director of fly fishing, on that with Robert Redford and all those guys. And we'll put links down below to that. And also, if you stick around to the end of the episode, there will be a link to that episode. But he talked a lot because there's a lot to say. I mean, this is the biggest, those 2 episodes. So click down below for that. But we had him, and he was talking about how he taught Brad Pitt like how to fly fish, and even like a lot of the stuff when he's hooked into a fish was like a 2-liter water bottle that was half full. And we see it like underwater. And it's just crazy stories. But time and time again, that movie comes up. It's come up in so many different conversations I've had. Do you think it's and you even quote McLean in your book? I mean, I think that's the introduction that you have there. Do you think the spirituality of that movie made a bigger impact than, say, just a regular fly fishing movie? Like if we go to a fly fishing film tour, I've seen so many of those movies and I don't remember them. But River Runs Through It, do you think it's the spirituality that spoke out to people, or what?
Absolutely. It's definitely the spirituality. I also think it was the family story. It's it's a very profound family story. There's a lot of sadness in that story. But there's, everybody has family members that we can struggle with, and difficulties in our families. And so to see this family who was, struggling with these different issues, and then the 2 brothers would go out fishing, and it was a way for them to connect to each other and to their father. It was really, just beautiful. And I think we can all relate to those feelings that we have. And, and to see that there's a way for us to connect to each other through fly fishing was very powerful.
Yeah, that's very awesome. Now you ended up writing a book with another clergyman. Here we have it. If you're looking at it's Fly Fishing, the Sacred Art. So if you're on the YouTube channel, you could see it there. And we had a lot of people who have given us good feedback about the book, and I like it as well. How did this book come about? What was it that instigated this book?
So, I really wanted to explore the spiritual side of fly fishing because the fly fishing line connects us to each other, it connects us to nature, and it can connect us to a divine presence. And I wanted to explore that further. And it's important. It was important to me that we have more than one religion exploring this through. So I was able to connect with Reverend Michael Addis, who is also a fly fishing fanatic like you and I, Jeff. And his last name isn't Troutman, but he's still a good fisherman. I'm sure you've heard that joke about 1,000 times, but I can help. Anyway, Reverend Addis, he's a cardiologist and a fisherman, and he fishes. And he's also an Episcopal priest. And he fishes the Frying Pan River in Colorado, which is a great stream. And of course, I'm a rabbi, and I fish the streams in the Northeast, and occasionally I get out west. And so we wanted to really explore what fly fishing meant to us as people and meant to us in terms of our religion and what lessons it can teach us about connecting to nature and to each other.
Well, why fly fishing versus spin gear fishing? Like why didn't you write about the Zebco 202 or your conventional? Why do you think it is about fly fishing?
I think when you're standing in the water and you're casting the fly and you feel the cold bite of the stream, and it's quiet and you're just hearing you're doing the motion to keep the fly above the water, and it's all encompassing, it's absorbing. And I think it allows you to kind of let go of all the stress you might be feeling and the difficulties of life and just be totally focused on this beautiful scenery and the beautiful fish, and allows you to kind of, plumb the depths of the spirit, really.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've told my story on this podcast a million times, but we've had a big marketing campaign this past summer and we've gotten a lot of new listeners. So forgive me, the people who are longtime listeners, but where I was in life when I found fly fishing, I had a miserable job. I had a newborn baby that would never sleep, and I had a toddler that would never sleep. And so I went and saw a shrink. I was at my breaking point. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? She's like, after a few visits, she probably got tired of me whining. And she's like, she's like, nothing's wrong with you. You just need to get a hobby or get away from your job, get away from the family. Not forever, right? But
of course,
my wife was nursing, and I'm like, I felt so selfish to step away. It's like, she's tired. She doesn't sleep. She sleeps less than me. So how can I justify this? So I'd won a fly rod and reel combo. It was a St. Croix a St. Croix rod and reel combo. No. It was the Bass Pro. It was a Bass Pro, combo, and it had I got a box of flies with something kind of like an Adam's fly and like a bumblebee, which I've never caught anything on the bumblebee or whatever. It's like this rare pack, and so we had a couple ponds across the street, and I just was like, my kids are asleep, right, at 8 o'clock. So I was able to go, for an hour or so across the street and start casting. And I'm like, man, and bluegill will eat anything. If you put some corn out there, they're going to snag it up, So I felt like Lefty Cray. I'm like, I'm the greatest fly angler alive. I just catch anything. It's not that hard.
Hey, Jeff, they call it fishing, not catching, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. We all learn those lessons about that. But I will say, to your point, we all need to fulfill our responsibilities to our family and to our professions, and to do what we need to do. But you have to take a little time to fill your own bucket. And I think that's part of the idea of the Sabbath and all traditions, that you need a day of rest, a day to recuperate, and what better way is there to reconnect and to feel enriched and recharged than to be on a trout stream? And by the way, to turn off your phone when you're there too. That's another issue.
Yeah, that's another issue. Now, do you fish on the Sabbath, or is Sabbath is like you're at home and you don't actually on the Sabbath you don't actually fish, right? Or you do fish?
Well, I'm leading services at my congregation on the Sabbath. Yeah. So, but I'm usually off on Thursdays. That's my day off. So what I'll do is I'll drive out to the stream, when I can. I have twins that are 10. So I know when you were talking about your young children and everybody going crazy, trust me, I'm 100% with you. I know exactly what you're talking about. And, but No, I will go. I will take local trips on Thursdays. But obviously, some of the best fishing is when you can get away for a couple of days. I get a furlough from the boss. That's my wife, and you can get out west and get to other places and really just be absorbed in the fly fishing life for a little while.
Right. You had quoted Herbert Hoover. I'm looking at your book now, and in your chat in chapter 3, wading into the stream and into yourself. Talking about the Connecticut River. What inspired that chapter? Is that I know we've been talking about it and I don't want to keep repeating ourselves, but being present is another concept, and being there. How is that something that's taught in the Jewish faith, or how do you approach that? And I don't mean to coming back to your faith, but I really want to understand.
Of course.
Kind of is that something, being present and being mindful? Because I don't like Buddhism, and there's a few that it's really. Is it the same way in Judaism as well? Do you guys have a?
Oh, sure. Yes. There's a Hebrew word. It's called hineni, which means here I am. And for example, when God spoke to Moses, Moses said, and God gave Moses the mission to free the Israelites. Moses said, "Hineni, here I am," and that has come to mean I am totally focused on what you're saying. Mm-hmm. I'm paying attention, and I'm completely aware. I'm not sending texts on my cell phone. I'm not hearing the ding of the email. I am completely focused on what's happening right in front of me. And, I was just talking to a friend of mine today who I think made a really good point. She said that, the past is done. The future is unknown. And the only place where we know what's really happening is the present. And yet, where do we spend most of our time in our minds, either in the past or the future? And so, what I think is so special about fly fishing is that, when you have to drive somewhere to go fly fishing. So right. You take that time to decompress and to let go of, some of the everyday difficulties in life. And then you get out on the water and it's just you and the water and the fish for those hours. That's it. Those are the only things that matter in the entire world, and having that experience is it's so powerful. And then after you've done that, you can go back to your regular life and you feel more ready to tackle the problems of every day.
Yeah, it's almost like the journey there is half the point, It's like we do a trout camp in the fall and the spring with my buddy accountant Phil, Wild Bill, and a few other, knuckleheads. And we all get together and we usually drive up together. And it's that trip up, we have some cool music I was listening to, right. It's all the ritual, and if you look at fly fishing, and I've said this a million times, but if you look at fly fishing and the concept of baptism, right, or the concept, there's so many things that are, perpendicular or whatever the word that connect to religion, like so many concepts. But yeah, I mean that whole.
The drive up is so important. One of the places I used to fish on Long Island is a stream. It was in a state park. So, just like an hour drive out there. So I drive out there and then you had to hike to the stream, which was like 20, 25 minutes. Uh-huh. So, I go in the summer, try to get the evening fishing in when it'll cool off a little bit. But you have to put on the waders to walk up there. So I'm wearing the full waders and the boots. I got the rod and a little water and whatever. And I'm hiking, sweating like crazy, but you just feel that cleansing happening when you're just moving. And, there's you see the deer there and, all the animals and the geese. And you finally get out to the water. And of course, you get to the water and you're like so excited. You got to take a minute, take it easy. These fish are going to see you. They're gonna spook in like 5 seconds. So you take a deep breath, and then you step into the water and you do that first cast. What possibility is in that first cast? Nothing's happened yet. You look at the water and you say, I'm gonna. You make that first cast. And then you make like 30 others and nothing happens, and you're in trouble and whatever. But that's fishing, right?
Yeah. We had a guy on the first season, and he's another guy I'm trying to go back to and revisit, but he worked with a lot of wounded warriors, people with PTSD, and he talked about the cast, and he said the reason why it's so awesome is because every time you cast, you have in your brain, you have hope, and so every time you're casting, and that's how it helps these soldiers who may be experiencing PTSD or experiencing these issues, and putting a fly rod in their hands, like every time that they cast, I'm mending and everything over here, but it's like a hope. and hope is what helps heal depression. It helps people who are depressed. A lot of times they just lack hope, or the PTSD, and he went into really great detail about casting, and you get 30 casts, your hope, you're kind of like, hope deferred makes the heart grow. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I love that message. I mean, what is more important in life than hope? I mean, especially now as we're going through all the, COVID and all the difficulties of that. And, we have to maintain our hope. And like you said, fly fishing is just emblematic of that. I mean, we fly anglers. We lie to ourselves all the time. So, we cast like 15 times in one spot. Oh, maybe I cast it just, 3 inches further. I'll definitely get it. Or, you move to another part of the stream. But like you said, it's, you're just that hope that maybe that beautiful trout will rise to the surface and get that fly. It's very exciting.
Now, do your twins or anyone else in your family fly fish with you, or is it more of a solo thing for you, Eric?
Well, my kids are 10, so I think they're getting about ready. It's getting to be about that time for us to start really getting involved. We've done some spin fishing with them, and they had some fun, with the sunnies and the bass and all that, and they really like it. I do have one story to tell about my wife. So I've been up to Roscoe, New York, which of course is very well known and for the history of fly fishing and up in the Catskills. So I went with my wife one time and a couple of friends of ours, and she put on the waders and she got in, and she was an excellent caster. Like I showed her what to do. She follows directions much better than I do,
right.
And she makes this fantastic cast and lands the fish, and then hands me the rod and says, "That's it, I'm all done," and gets out of the water. And that was the end of that. But of course, one of the things I've loved to see in fly fishing is the increased involvement of women who are continuing to love fly fishing and to cast a line and to be a part of the fly fishing community.
Yeah, it's great because I'll take my wife out every once in a while. Well, last fall is probably the last time I took her out, and she picks up a fly rod, and she's just so much more. How do I say it? It's like it comes natural to her, the casting. She's gingerly with it. She pays attention to detail. She's just, and I'm like, it kind of sucks because I worked really hard to be where I'm at. And you pick it up and you look really good, and she's beautiful as well. But it's just like watching her cast her. I was like, wow, you're pretty dang good at that for just a few times you've done it. So.
It's awesome. Look, we want, I want fly fishing to be something for everybody. I mean, it's such a wonderful way to spend your time that I think everybody should be doing it.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you want to tell a story, but you just recently went out to Wyoming, right? Since the last time we talked.
I did. So I went with a friend of mine. This was before COVID. This was we went in July of 19. A friend of mine I actually met. He is from Amsterdam. His name is Chef, like the person who cooks. It's short for Joseph. And he's a crazy angler, and we met, and we'll go on a trip here and there together. He's very nice. And, one of the things I love about fly fishing is meeting people from different backgrounds. And we have this common love of fishing. And, I'm Jewish and he's Christian, and I'm from New Jersey and he's from Amsterdam. But, we get us out on the water and all we're talking about is trout and fishing and flies and having a great time. And anyway, so we went out to Wyoming, and we were in Casper, and we fished the North Platte River there. Which was my first time out there. And, what an incredible state. I believe there's more cattle in Wyoming than human beings. I think that is accurate.
Yeah, I think I heard that too before. Yeah.
Just incredible scenery, the prairies stretching in all directions. And we went out with a guide and took a float on the North Platte. And we each caught like 8, 10, 2 and 3 pound large trout. And, I got sunburned to a crisp, of course. It was July. It was, 1,000 degrees and whatever. We're drifting through the canyons and having a great time. And, we saw a couple bald eagles flying. That's all part of the wonderful part about fishing too is just appreciating your surroundings. I mean, how often do we get to do that? We're always so caught up in getting to the next thing and fulfilling our responsibilities. How often do we get to look around? And the places we fish are some of the most majestic places on the earth. So we really got to enjoy that. So we fished there in Casper and had a great time. And then we made our way back after a couple of days down to Colorado. And fished in Fort Collins there. And he and my friend has another friend there. And anyway, we fished a stream there, and they were like, I mean, how many mosquitoes can you put on one river? I mean, we're just getting, getting like eaten alive here by mosquitoes. And we caught some fish, had a great time. And, I love fishing in the Northeast. There are amazing streams in the Northeast. But, those wide Western streams that are just full of trout and with no people and just you and the fish, it's just incredible.
Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is. Well, what's new for you, Rabbi? Are you going to be writing another book, you think? Is there going to be a sequel to this, and maybe with a Buddhist priest or something, or like what?
Oh, that'd be fun. I'll have to give that one some thought. I don't know. I'm really, I'm actually hoping to make it out west again. We were planning to go out west this past summer, but obviously, life intervened, and maybe we'll make it out west in the next summer. I have some other book ideas too. We'll have to see how things develop, but it was just really a great pleasure for me to be able to get to know Reverend Addis and to be able to write with him.
That is amazing that you were able to do that, because a lot of times religions are kind of segregated, like this is my denomination and my religion and this is your religion, and, not coming together. So I think that shows a lot of unity and open-mindedness where some people are not that way. So that's really, really kudos to you. I find, I'm not very active in church. And I find religion is kind of in my past, it's not really a part of my daily life anymore. But I remember growing up in Christianity, and like we would go from like, say, Texas, and we'd go on a trip to like North Carolina or something. And we'd meet someone that was part of our denomination, and they're like, oh, do you know Sister Beth over, and I was like, well, actually, yeah, I do know her, and I was like, we all kind of knew each other, and I'm sure it's probably the same in the Jewish faith. You go to a synagogue somewhere, and they're like, oh, my brother's from New Jersey. Do you know, Chef or whatever, Joseph, that's a good Jewish name. But it's like, it's kind of the same thing. Well, what I've noticed in fly fishing is it's kind of that way. You travel, it's like, oh, you're from Michigan. Do you know Kaz? Or do you know this guy? And I was like, yeah. So it's almost like our own congregation. It's the community that I have. It's the friendships that I have, the depth that I've had, especially through COVID and all that's gone on. It's been really a refreshing thing for me, and as a human being, it's been nothing but life-giving, with a couple of exceptions, but that we talked about before. I went fly fishing, messing with knuckleheads on the river. But other than that, especially this time of year, because the salmon are running, and it almost gets violent. Like everyone comes out and is like, it just with their huge treble hooks trying to catch salmon, and sometimes that can get violent. I try to stay off the river, or fish in the week instead of the weekends. But I've definitely found my community, and I think you can probably agree. Like when you said, when you're on the river, there's no religions, or you're just all there for the fish.
Absolutely. And community is so important for us to maintain at all times, as a community of anglers, religious communities. I mean, people, we need each other. Like, it says in the book of Genesis, it's not good for man to be alone. That's the truth. We all need to support each other, and I think right now during COVID, I think, fishing is even more important. I mean, I love that, those ads you've seen, where they're talking about fishing, and they say, keep a 6 trout distance from each other. I think those are terrific. But fishing is something that can really help us right now too, because we can still be out in the stream. We can take the distance we need, but be able to be with our angler friends, and to be able to fish, and to be able to live, right. and enjoy ourselves and still feel refreshed. Right.
Well, Rabbi, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I really appreciate it. I always enjoy talking with you. I'm sore because I'm smiling the entire time. It's always a good time to talk to you. We'll put your links down below. Do you have a website or anything like that, or is it just Amazon or?
Oh, no. Well, yes. You could, I have a blog that I was running for a while, and, some writings that I've done about fly fishing also. It's called the Fly Fishing Rabbi. So you can just Google that. And of course there's a book. And, Jeff, it's really been great to talk to you. It's a lot of fun to share a good conversation and to speak with a friend. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Well, you have a great day, and thanks for hanging out.
All right. Take good care. Thank you.
Well, that was an awesome episode, Bill.
Yes, it was.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Dude, it's good to be back.
It's so good, dude. And great shirt, by the way. Love the shirt.
Well, thank you.
The shirt here. Don't forget, every shirt, t-shirts are $18, including shipping, handling, What is handling?
That is
Someone's handling and packaging it for you?
You have to wear gloves now with the COVID.
Oh, it's a COVID surcharge.
Yeah.
We're going to waive that COVID surcharge. $18 for T-shirts, $20 for long sleeve tees. Also, don't forget to click below to the Fish Gods.
Oh, not there.
Not this below. Not that low. But click below on the YouTube channel or in your show notes for a link to the Fish Gods and help those guys push that campaign over the edge. I know we can do it. It's amazing. Bill, what else would you like to say?
Doggone it. I was gonna have something ready too. I'm like, he's gonna want parting words, and I'm like, I never have anything.
I've
been gone a month, 6 weeks, and
we did do like a 30-minute intro.
Yeah, we did.
25-minute intro. But what else do you have, Bill?
Well, we could talk about the election now that the podcast is over, and this is just wrapping up week 1 of Indecision.
No one's listening.
Nope.
Nothing like getting banned on the YouTube.
At the very end, because their algorithms are reading.
Okay, the thing is if we were to get banned on YouTube, the funniest part of that is we literally advertise. We are the home of fake news.
Yes.
So if they took us off of the YT, maybe I should start using that terminology.
Oh, good call.
If they be us on the YT, it would be the funniest thing ever. It would suck because that's a good, whatever. But it would be actually kind of funny because we literally advertise ourselves. We put ourselves out there as the home of FN.
We're not going to lie to you guys.
No.
This isn't real.
It is.
The podcast is real.
The podcast is real.
Our news portion,
Our news portion, our opinions, never take seriously.
No.
Never take seriously. Unless we're advertising for a product.
Unless we're serious about that.
Yes, unless it's products like hymns available to you. Nothing's real. Nothing we talk about is real. Unless are you suffering from erectile dysfunction? Go to hymns.com today. No, but for real though, it would be kind of funny because maybe the Asian carp thing.
That's what's going to start it, and they're going to go back and they're going to look at all of our episodes, and we're racist and we're
anti.
We're leading in a certain direction they don't like.
We're anti-pescatarians. Pescatarians are real people. They only eat fish.
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
So I can't say pescatarian.
They're like vegetarians and
right.
Yeah.
We're anti.
Sounds like a religion.
Pescatarian, like Rastafarians.
Yeah, or Presbyterians. No offense to our Presbyterians, though.
No offense to all of our Midwestern Presbyterian people.
Or Episcopalians.
Our Episcopalians.
Yeah.
Pentecostals. Mm-hmm. What else? Catholics. We talked about Catholics a couple times today with the confessional robot. The confessional.
Hey, Siri, I've got a new sin. Go ahead.
Hey, Siri. Yeah. Oh, crap. Siri just came up. Oh, shoot. Hopefully it doesn't do anything.
I flipped mine over to keep her quiet.
I wonder if we could do some kind of confessional. Hey, Siri. Is there a confessional nearby?
I didn't find any matching places.
See, there's a need out there. No, there's a need. But anyways, we love everybody. Mm-hmm. We don't care. We don't talk about any of that stuff on the air.
On the air.
If you come to trial camp with us, you may see a different side of me and a couple cocktails and nicotine.
I don't even drink it, I'll tell you.
He doesn't drink. Bill doesn't drink. However, you were tempted this week with
Tuesday night. I was almost ready to. Yeah.
I don't know a soul out there who wasn't.
I know.
It's been a hard time. COVID's been a rough time.
Been a crazy 2020. I cannot wait till 2021.
Oh God.
And decide what country I want to live in. Post Civil War
or state.
Post Civil War.
What
America.
are you doing? You're going to get us banned, Bill. Going off the rails. If beep gets elected, I'm out of here.
I'm moving to France.
I'm moving to France or Canada. Beep. You know what I mean?
Beep, beep. Paris Accord. Beep.
Stop. Seriously, stop. We love it. We love it. We love everything.
Sorry, I've got 6 weeks of pent up.
I know.
We haven't been able to talk. And
we're going to end up on a Rumble. That's the only video platform.
Yep, that'll take us.
As a matter of fact, we are putting everything on Rumble here in the next couple weeks. Rumble.com, which is a video platform. And then also, I'm really seriously thinking about taking these A-cups to TikTok.
Whoa.
Nothing sells better than these.
What about
God, this is awful.
Instagram.
I can't
You could
believe-
probably
Okay, we've talked about the sacred art of fly fishing. Sacred.
Yes.
Freaking sacred. And here I'm talking about my getting followers on TikTok. Do you think people would follow me on TikTok?
I don't even want to get into TikTok.
A 40-year-old that will get us banned too if we talk about
TikTok.
who really owns TikTok
Yep.
and JFK.
Whoa.
I digress. Dude, this is so off the rails. Thank you guys so much for joining in this. Thank you guys so much for joining in this.
Thank you for joining us again, and we'll. What was it? What's the?
Thank you for joining us on the Remote No Pressure podcast. We thank you for listening. Be sure to leave comments below. Thank you for everyone who said. I think 2 people said "Get well, Bill" on our YouTube channel.
Very kind of you guys. Thank you.
Both of you.
The rest of you could learn.
The rest of you could learn something from those 2. No, but be sure to subscribe. Why can't you be more like your brother? Be sure. Be sure to. Okay, I'm gonna take a before we go. You know, I used to be really involved in church. It was something that was really part of my life. And it wasn't uncommon for a Wednesday night to have like a Wednesday night prayer service where everyone would get together on a Wednesday night and we would pray for our country. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, I think it's great. We pray for our country. This has been probably, I bet this has been, because this is before my oldest was like 1. So this is like 10 years ago. And people were crying and they're praying for different things. And this one guy grabs a mic and goes, I pray for the middle child. For all the middle children out there. And I'm like,
middle child.
Let
right
me
there.
guess, you were a middle child. Why can't you be more like your brother? The scarring has happened. No, but thank you guys so much. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, be sure to subscribe to us on your feeds. We always appreciate feedback. We always appreciate the emails. Even though one person listening to us in Louisiana, thank you so much for doing that. What else? Be sure to buy a shirt. Anything else, Bill?
Mugs, buffs. Yeah, we already covered all that. What are we doing?
We already covered
reruns.
Reruns. See, this is actually the ending of an old show, and we're gonna. And the only way you know that is if you go to the YouTube channel.
Scrub through each one to get to the end. They were in the same shirts at this one as they were
on that. No, but for real though, be sure to subscribe to everything. Absolutely everything.
Not just us, everyone.
Dude, the problem is you were gone for too long, and now we just act stupid.
Now we're like little kids.
We're like friends. And it's like I hadn't seen you in a while. Welcome to Clubhouse. And this is like the club. Like on Step Brothers when they're in the clubhouse and they're looking at Playboys and stuff. And, yeah, it's like
Chewbacca masks.
That's literally how I feel right now. Anyways, no sword fights though. Hey, thank you guys so much for listening. I can't end the show. Thank you guys so much for joining us this week on the Remote No Pressure podcast. And until next time,
go fishing.
Go fishing.
Oh,
you stole my line. Go fishing.